There you are, Frank. You're saying the midfield there, and it does look very strong, doesn't it? Keane,
yeah.
Townsend, Houghton, Staunton.
Yeah, very difficult to play against. A lot of experience there. And also, as you say, Keane and Townsend are two of the best midfield players in the country. So I think it'll be very difficult for...
not quite as experienced, would you say, Frank?
There's only the back four, you would say, are the ones and they're going to be vital today. They're going to have to deal with the aerial problem of Niall Quinn. And the midfield...
Windy day here in Dublin. The Northern Ireland strip is similar to the colours they wore at the turn of the century. So a little bit of tradition in what for most people will be a new appearance for Northern Ireland. The first offside decision going against Ian Dowie, the Southampton striker, and Paul McGrath, newly elected, of course, Players' Player of the Year, will take the free kick. Staunton will appear on the left of midfield for the Republic. Taggart gets the first header away. Townsend, captaining the Republic today, goes for the return ball from Staunton, but just a little too strong. Ron Atkinson, three of your Aston Villa players, including Stevie Staunton, of course, in the Republic side. And on paper, you have to say, they certainly look the stronger of the two teams.
Yes, all apart from the front two. You wonder whether the Republic have enough goal power there. Certainly in midfield, as I say, our two lads on the wide positions. And the two central midfield players will both get breaking balls. I mean, Townsend and Keane have energy to burn.
Good header there by Keane, who certainly will be a key figure, I'm sure, in this game. Phelan just beaten to it, and Townsend gets a head on it. Phelan finding Staunton. Did well to keep that in play, let alone find Quinn. Staunton again. Townsend flicks it back towards Quinn. Staunton. And a suspicion of handball there by Michael O'Neill, the Dundee United player. The referee has waved play on, though. And he got out of a sticky situation well there, O'Neill. The tackling every bit as ferocious as you would have expected in the early stages. And Coyne seemed to be pushed over there by Taggart. Again, the referee has said play on. And meantime, the referee has fallen over himself, to the huge delight of the crowd, who weren't too happy with him then. Irwin breaks clear for the Republic, attacking from right to left. Good ball up for Quinn. Coyne is onside. That looked rather surprising, and certainly the Northern Ireland defenders stood still for a moment then. Worthington clears the danger, but Gray's header picked up by McGrath. And now Phelan. Staunton winning his 37th cap for the Republic today, but got that one a little bit wrong. But certainly a moment ago, Ron, a little bit of danger for Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah, the long ball up to Niall Quinn. He gets a brilliant touch on, but Coyne had run a mile offside. I mean, that would have been a tragedy for the North if Coyne had been allowed to get away with that. But certainly Steve Staunton, on the first two occasions he's had possession, I think Big Jack won't be too happy with his delivery there. The short pass we can excuse a little bit when he tried to play Townsend in, but you know, Niall Quinn will be looking for some sort of service from wide positions.
Keane with a towering header. Worthington gets it clear, and it's not a bad ball either. It'll hang up there in the wind to Dowie. Gray just to his left, and Keane is there again to pick up the pieces and feeds Phelan. Well, Staunton hesitated then, and he was right to do so in the end, because the linesman did flag this time. Played every game, I think, for you this season, Stevie Staunton, hasn't he, Ron?
Yes, equally adept either at left full-back or on the left-hand side of midfield. And I think we'll see a lot of that this afternoon. I think we'll see him running off the flank to let Phelan, who's got great pace, has got an understanding with his clubmate Niall Quinn, and Phelan will be asked to get out of the park and deliver crosses. But I don't think Staunton will stay static on the wing. I think he'll move inside to create space.
Immediately, Bonner's free kick landed inside the Irish half. There was another offside decision. It's quite difficult, the conditions here, Ron. It's very windy out there, and raining as well, although that will do the pitch a favour, I think.
Yeah, the pitch is looking as good as I've ever seen Lansdowne Park. But there's certainly a strong wind, and at the moment it's favouring the Republic. It's blowing, when I say it's favouring, it's blowing behind them.
Quinn colliding there, shall we say, politely, with the Northern Ireland captain Alan MacDonald, and the free kick goes against big Niall Quinn.
there'll be a lot of that going on this afternoon. I mean, Alan MacDonald relishes a physical battle, doesn't he? I mean, that's his strength, marking somebody and standing up against them and scrapping. He'll certainly get plenty of that today with the big Irish boy, with the big Republic boy.
The danger came initially from this free kick, and the referee well placed, but was he? Moran gets it clear. And feeling under pressure here from Dowie. I don't think he quite realised that. Staunton on to Quinn. Now Moran's route back to his goalkeeper seemed to be cut off, and it was a terrible mistake as he played the ball straight against Gray, and certainly they looked uncomfortable there.
That's an area I think the Northern Ireland might try to exploit, you know. With Phelan pushing forward, it puts a big responsibility on Kevin Moran on the left-hand side of defence. And I feel sure, you see, he smashed it against him there. Kevin Moran was actually in trouble with the ball that turned him. And I think that might be something the North may try and exploit, is to play little balls behind Phelan and make Kevin Moran turn round.
Certainly Bonner didn't look too sure of himself with that kick.
No, it's an ugly situation for a goalkeeper, though, where the defender's playing the ball right on top of him.
Staunton knocking it onto Coyne. MacDonald gets it clear. And Bonner will want a little better touch of the ball this time than on the previous occasion. 60-second cap today for the Celtic goalkeeper. And the usual target is Quinn, who seemed to be hauled back by MacDonald, and that's certainly the way the referee read it.
I think MacDonald decided to swap shirts a little bit early in the game there, didn't he? Had a heck of a tug on Big Quinn's back.
But it's folly to concede too many free kicks against the Republic of Ireland side that are known in world football for their strength in these situations. They've got a lot of options. One here is for Staunton perhaps to try a crack on target. That's how it's looking, and that's how it turns out. And the ball hooked away from danger for a throw-in by Maldonaghy. Irwin gets it back from the captain, Townsend. It's a good-looking ball by Townsend, and it was a fine run forward by Kevin Moran, but he just couldn't judge the pace of the ball, I think, as it swirled in on the wind.
Yes, I also think Maldonaghy did just enough on the cross. You know, Kevin was looking quite handily placed here when Townsend crosses it. It's a nice ball in from an educated left foot, and he's just done enough there, Maldonaghy. Experience telling there. I mean, that will be very vital to Billy Bingham's boys, that the Donaghys, MacDonalds and Worthington, their experience.
Here's Irwin, the Manchester United fullback. But it looked initially a bit strong, but it comes back to Irwin, and he whips the dangerous ball in. And certainly the opening stages here have seen the Republic camped in Northern Ireland's half, apart from that one moment of apprehension. And Bonner miskicked the ball at Gray, who provides a clumsy layoff there. A little bit lucky that it was rescued for him by Magilton. And Bonner again not looking too comfortable with his kick.
Full marks to Ian Dowie, though. You know, he really had no right to chase that ball. He must have run 40 yards to put Bonner under pressure, and full marks. His side have benefited by a throw-in.
Townsend comes clear with the ball, but not for long. He's in fact tripped anyway. Free kick to Ireland. Foul by Jim Magilton of Oxford United, who began his Football League career with Liverpool, though he never made the first team there. Quinn getting up well again. It breaks to Townsend. Ball taken off him by O'Neill and cleared by Donaghy. Kevin Moran wins the header. Good challenge there by McGrath. And now Townsend has got Houghton in a good position to his right. Well, it was a spectacular effort, but maybe one or two of his teammates will say, well, you had players better placed for the shot than you, but you can't really blame him for having a go.
In all fairness, a great effort. I mean, from here, you know, I actually thought I was going to bounce past the keeper and go in. I mean, this is going to be a danger all afternoon, these surging runs from both Townsend and Keane, and both packed powerful shots. And he's desperately unlucky there. I don't think Tommy Wright knew too much about that. I mean, it's a lovely situation to be in, to have two midfield players that can cover ground like Keenan Townsend, and basically every ball that goes up to Quinn, you'll see one of these two racing up in support of him.
Yes, I think there are a few teams in world football who could select a stronger midfield than the Republic of Ireland. O'Neill getting it forward for Northern Ireland, still under some real pressure here early on.
At the moment, the Northern Irish team, they're having to get a lot of numbers in midfield to compensate for the Republic's strength. And Morrow is actually playing just in front of the two centre-backs. I think his job mainly will be to try and pick out the runs of Townsend and Keane.
10 minutes gone, still the Republic of Ireland 0, Northern Ireland 0 in this World Cup qualifier. The Republic have certainly made the better start, and in the throw-in goes to Quinn, but he's dispossessed. Coyne battles to win it back for the Irish. Well, I suppose I've got to be careful about saying that today. We've got two Irish teams out there. The Jilton loses out in the battle on the edge of his own area. Northern Ireland survive. But for how long? Phelan. Quinn. Taggart got across him. Donaghy's clearance, a little bit of a panicky one. O'Neill did well then. Now Morrow. Long ball forward for Gray, the Luton striker to chase. Phelan being told by his goalkeeper to turn away from danger and obeyed him. Phelan still doing the marking here as Donaghy prepares to take the throw. Gets it back from Dowie. Now McDonald. I suppose it's difficult, Ron, in a situation like this. Clearly, these players know so much about each other, playing week in, week out, many of them anyway, against each other at club level. A little bit of familiarity perhaps breeds caution.
Well, not only that, I mean, the stakes are so high. It's a big prestige match, even discounting the fact of what they're both aiming for. And certainly the boys from the north will be very, very wary. They'll look at the Republic. They'll know what they've done in recent years, although they haven't done so bad themselves, actually. And they'll have a little bit of, well, they'll have a healthy respect for them. Because, as I say, apart from the back four, it is a comparatively inexperienced Northern Irish side.
Kevin Moran's foul there has given the Northern Irish a free kick. Donaghy swings it in. It wasn't a bad one, but McGrath was equal to it. Morrow loses out then. Houghton. It's a great long ball for Coyne, who takes it in his stride beautifully. Good work by the goalkeeper. Tommy Wright to Northern Ireland's rescue then. Lovely incisive movement by the Republic.
Yes, and you probably saw the reason why Jack Charlton preferred Tommy Coyne to Kelly, actually. He is quite a useful mover off the ball, and I think he probably felt that complimented Niall Quinn better.
Morrow comes out with the ball from that scramble for possession in midfield and then runs into trouble, but Hughes to his rescue. Nice little feint by him, the former Manchester City player, now playing for Strasbourg in France. Long ball forward by Worthington. And McGrath even wins the throw. Not too much gets past him. His 58th cap today, Ian Dowie, relatively inexperienced internationally. Just 15 appearances for Northern Ireland for him. Here's Phelan for the Republic. Now Staunton. Donaghy headed that one away. Coyne had in any case moved into an offside position.
I think it's noticeable as well watching the Republic play these days, you know. Although Jack still has the big target man up front, Niall Quinn, he does encourage, and obviously with players of the calibre he's got, he does encourage them to play a lot more through midfield than they've done in the past. I think he's also encouraged the groundsman to cut this pitch like a football pitch now. Remember when we used to come over years ago and there was big tufts on it, and the ball used to be kicked 60 yards downfield and everybody scrapped for it?
Yes, no longer is football the poor relation of sport in the Republic of Ireland. It used to be third in popularity once, but not anymore. Taggart under pressure here from Coyne and just about crept over the touchline. Big Jerry Taggart, the Barnsley defender, has to race back as Quinn pushes it dangerously across the face of Northern Ireland goal. No one to take advantage in a green shirt.
Yes, a quick thinking there by Steve Staunton, the quick throw-in. And Quinn's done all he could do, is face the ball across the goal. As you say, unfortunately, nobody could arrive at the end of it.
Staunton wins it back. No problem for Worthington, who's had a very good season for Sheffield Wednesday. Quarter of an hour gone then, and no goals, similar to the opening the last time these sides met here, 1989, a match that the Republic then went on to win by 3-0. Remember, on that occasion, Northern Ireland made a very good start and were unlucky to be a goal behind, but then rather caved in. Dowie and Gray jumping for the same ball, and Magilton couldn't win it. Strong play in the middle of the field by the Republic. Staunton again turns it forward to Coyne, and again Tommy Wright judged his run from the goal line to perfection.
That was good. That was a good build-up play. That a break from the back from Kevin Moran just nudges it into the path of Steve Staunton here, and he spots Coyne making a little diagonal run. Spots him with a rebound, that is.
I must say, Coyne's made a very lively start, certainly at the moment justifying Jack Charlton's decision to select him ahead of one or two other candidates.
I think if there is a weakness in the Republic side, you know, Alan, it's just that they haven't got that sprinter up front. I mean, John Aldridge isn't a sprinter, but he has he's a great knowledge of where to go at the right time, so he thinks very, very quickly.
Well, Townsend certainly has a wonderful knowledge of the way to go here, and Houghton comes in to make it more difficult for Northern Ireland. Irwin, good ball, then turned on by Keane, but much too close to the goalkeeper. Tommy Wright, of course, lucky to be playing in this match. He's got a pretty serious knee injury, and in any case, as Keane tested him then, the Northern Ireland keeper hasn't played for 4 months in Newcastle's first team.
Yeah, I think Big Jack will be a bit disappointed he hasn't had 2 or 3 corners to test the keeper as well. Throw things under the bar and see how injured he is.
Turned on by O'Neill. They'll have to watch that all the way. It's a difficult bounce as Gray gets in there, and it almost broke to him as well, although the linesman has signalled that he was pushing Paul McGrath as he challenged for the ball.
I thought you see there as well the effect, you know, the 2 earlier problems Packy Bonner had with passes back to him. He really should have come and cleaned that out. There should have been no real need for Paul McGrath to get involved there. A little bit of hesitancy from the 2 previous occasions.
Easy header for Taggart, but it goes straight to Phelan. Now Staunton. He's got round Donaghy's challenge. And a good ball onto Phelan. And again, the goalkeeper's judgment of those situations, well, a vital factor.
Yeah, but very, very promising play between the 2 left-sided players. Steve Staunton does well there to nick him, and then just slightly over-measures his pass in there for Phelan. But I mean, that's a very, very useful tactic if they can keep employing that.
Bonner under pressure again, can't pick this one up, remember. Did rather better with his kick that time, but Morrow keeps possession for Northern Ireland, finding Magilton, and Irwin gets it clear. Worthington's header. And Irwin has conceded the throw. Northern Ireland always knew it was going to be difficult for them in the opening stages here. It's a question of how long they can weather the storm. It's blowing up again now with Staunton in possession. Quinn to his right. It's an excellent ball. He looks for Coyne in the middle. Cleared, though, by Taggart. Back comes the ball into that Irish penalty area, Northern Ireland penalty area again. Now Phelan. Good challenge by Donaghy, though, on Staunton. Magilton to Dowie. That's nice skill by Jim Magilton. But not a very good ball then. Easy interception for Irwin. And he almost threaded that one through to Coyne. Now Houghton. O'Neill loses out to Keane. This is Staunton. The Republic have the throw.
Yes, this is relentless now for the North, isn't it? I mean, everywhere they seem to have players coming at them from all angles now.
Phelan hooking it in towards Quinn. It was a lovely little turn by Niall Quinn.
Well, they say you should score in your good times, and at the moment you get the distinct impression that the Republic are very, very close to coming very, very close to scoring, I would think, at the moment.
Houghton onto Irwin, forward to the captain, and a little layoff. Oh, to go! A splendid goal as well by Andy Townsend. 20 minutes gone. Townsend begins and finishes off a move which has given the Republic a vital lead.
Yes, well, whether that's an intentional layup there from Niall Quinn, I don't know. We'll give him the credit, but great support play by Andy Townsend. He's fed it into the box, followed his pass in, and he's tucked it away comfortably. But the pressure has been, for the last 5 or 10 minutes, relentless. I mean, every time the Northern lads clear the ball, it's either going out to Irwin on one side, Staunton or Phelan, or either of the midfield players. There he goes, he just feeds it in, a little nick. I'm going to say Nigel Quinn played that very culturedly.
It was a superb move anyway, even if the final layup perhaps owed more to luck than skill and judgment. But anyway, the Republic are in front here. Their captain, Andy Townsend, the scorer, but they face a free kick. Donaghy hitting it high towards Dowie, away by McGrath, and then by Irwin. Worthington. Magilton. Worthington has to go deeper into his own half, but keeps possession well. Now he's run into trouble. It's really compressed there in midfield, but Keane breaks clear. Donaghy across to cover. Now how will the referee read that one? He's read it, in fact, as no offence. Play continues. McGrath. Staunton. They're looking good now. The Irish buzzing. Houghton plays it into Quinn. A superb finish, and it's 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Republic.
Some absolutely excellent midfield play here. First Staunton gets it, lays it up to Houghton. A lovely little curling ball in. And Niall Quinn, in all fairness to him, gets first across the defender, shows his strength, and then tidies the thing away very, very well. We said at the start the key areas would be midfield, and now we're seeing the value of that. They are absolutely rampant in midfield at the moment, the Republic.
Niall Quinn's first international goal for a year, and it's increased the Republic's lead, but they're under pressure again now. Magilton trying to thread it back to O'Neill. They've got a lot of people on the far post here, if he can get the cross in. Maybe Donaghy will. Phelan in the end clears his lines to Coyne. Awkward sort of ball for Coyne to deal with. And Northern Ireland have the throw. Well, certainly one criticism of Niall Quinn's team has been that they haven't been looking dangerous enough to score too many goals of late, but they've swept that criticism aside with that splendid second. And they have not conceded a goal, remember, yet in this qualifying group. That's the size of the task facing Northern Ireland now. Irwin does well to clear under pressure from Gray. This is Houghton, who played a key part in that second goal. Donald's clearance, and again Bonner perhaps a little bit reluctant to come and help the defender out. I would have thought they wanted a bit more advice there, both Moran on that occasion and McGrath before him.
Yeah, I think what's happening, the problem he's got, Paddy Bonner, I think the wind's holding it up, you know. When balls are played over the top, it's catching in the wind, and rather than come and commit himself and get in a tangle with either of his central defenders.
It's offside. Coyne is offside.
With either of his central defenders, Alan, I think what he's doing is just he's holding ground and saying, go on, you sort it out, and at least we'll make sure there's not a tangle. But I agree with you. I think unless he's giving commands that we can't obviously interpret from here.
There's a clear offside here as Coyne broke clear. And the Republic leading 2-0. Quinn's 9th goal in 36 internationals.
What also now becomes a major problem for the Northern Irish team is that you know, they tried to stifle midfield, and I thought it was a team built to try and contain the Republic. But now, of course, they've got to try and make a fist of it. And they're going to open up an awful lot of space for some quality players, particularly this lad. I think he's playing particularly well.
And he curls it in towards Coyne, or Houghton coming in behind him, just a shade too far ahead of them.
I mean, all of a sudden, if you allow the likes of Houghton, Staunton, Keane and Townsend space, then they can destroy any team in the world, I would guess.
And Staunton's apparent freedom on this left flank proving a real problem for Northern Ireland. His delivery has been excellent.
And it all seemed to stem, they're sort of taking command of the game, it seemed to stem when he went and played and started driving through the middle sometimes in midfield. Not necessarily holding the wide position.
Well, Tommy Wright has personally started the game quite sharp, but has been beaten twice. Townsend, the captain, got that first goal, followed very soon by Quinn. 25 minutes gone. The Republic of Ireland 2, Northern Ireland 0. Northern Ireland have virtually admitted that if they lose here today, their hopes of qualifying for next year's World Cup finals will have disappeared. And remember, Northern Ireland qualified in both 1982 and again in 1986. Two defenders going for the same ball there. The inevitable outcome, a mistake, and a throw in to the Republic. Quickly taken. Intelligent early throw by Staunton to Coyne. McDonnell gets it clear. And another quick throw to Phelan. That's a lovely little back header by Keane, and Irwin tries a shot from great distance. He scored one goal in his previous 16 internationals.
But that's the value of they're pressing right on it. They're trying them out on the left-hand side. If it breaks out on the other side, they've got Irwin supporting. And okay, that wasn't one of his better shots, but we all know from what he's done this season that he can crack them from distances.
Staunton just loses out to O'Neill, and then Donaghy. A clearance by Kevin Moore, who hasn't really done anything wrong yet. Along with McGrath, they look very solid in the centre of defence, but there's danger for them here, perhaps. Morrow tried to force a way through, and again, it was Moore who got it clear. But this is Worthington keeping possession for Northern Ireland. They surely have to get a goal back before half-time to give them any hope here. Taggart looking for Hughes there, but Michael Hughes was offside. Well, it's a very daunting position that Northern Ireland face now, because the Republic have one of the best home records in European football, indeed in anywhere in world football. 26 games unbeaten, remember, and just about all the major football nations on the globe have come here and had difficulties, certainly since Jackie Charlton became manager, what was it now, 7 years ago. The likes of England, Brazil and Germany, they've all come here and failed to win. And Northern Ireland have given themselves so much to do, 2 behind. Wasn't a very good ball, straight to O'Neill. Nor was that. They can ill afford to give away possession now. It's hard enough to win it back. Excellent long ball to Keane. Houghton takes over. Swings it in towards Quinn. Good one-handed save by Wright, and Niall Quinn looking really dangerous now.
Yes, once again we see them, they dominate. This all starts from a great run forward from Keane. Ball whipped into the box, and there's Niall Quinn doing what he's particularly good at. And a fine save, I would say, from the keeper.
And more problems for him. This will be carried in by Staunton, and an in-swinger. Oh, it's gone in! A combination of errors, but no one in Dublin really minds. Staunton takes the congratulations, and the Republic have increased their lead to 3-0 with 16 minutes still remaining in the first half.
Well, if you're Billy Bingham, you know it's not your day when that sort of thing happens. I was just thinking, they haven't had a corner. Steve Staunton hits these usually brilliantly. I was thinking, what a mess you've made of that, Steve. And all of a sudden, he's made the best mess possible.
I think it went clean in as well, didn't he? Dowie seemed to try and dive on the near post to head it away, but I don't think it touched either him or Tommy Wright, the goalkeeper. Staunton's goal.
If he tells me tomorrow he meant that, I'll tell you what.
Well, it's certainly given the Republic of Ireland a dream situation here now, with a quarter of an hour still remaining, just a little more of the first half. How on earth can Northern Ireland rescue the shambles of this first half an hour now? Question for Ron to ponder. I wonder what you'd do if you were in Billy Bingham's shoes.
Panic.
Absolutely. Here's Quinn. He could make him panic even more, but he lifts it high over.
See, the problem they've got is that they had to try and hang on for this half while they're playing against all the worst of the elements. They had to try and contain that the Republic midfield, and they haven't been able to do so. I mean, at the moment, Houghton, Keane, Townsend, Staunton are running rampant. The support's flying up the flanks from the two fullbacks, Irwin and Phelan. And when they eventually get through that, they're faced with McGrath and Moran, who really are under little pressure. So it is a giant-sized problem, and I really can't see how they can overcome it.
They're absolutely buzzing here, the Republic. Everyone wants the ball. They're running off the ball's intelligence as well. Northern Ireland looking totally out of their depth at the moment, and the Republic will want to keep looking and hunting for more goals here. Goal difference, such an important factor, of course, in this qualifying group, and the Republic's is inferior at the moment to Spain, who play in Denmark tonight. And by the way, highlights of that game exclusively on ITV tonight.
I think it's also fair to say, on behalf of the Billy Bingham boys, that they know full well that they haven't had a particularly strong side for a year or two since their halcyon days, and they're probably playing against the best ever Republic side.
Well, now Morrow has sliced the ball over his line for another corner, and it'll be hard in the mouth time for the Northern Ireland defenders after what happened from the last one. Staunton's taking it short this time. Houghton knocks it in towards Moore, and McGrath, who got the header in, and that was so close from Quinn to yet another goal. He knows he should have scored.
Yes, but you see now what's happening, that they do not know where they are at the moment. He's played some nice, cute ball, but really they've slept in there, the Northern Irish team. Header from McGrath. As I say, Quinn should have been further on the score sheet. But they really don't know what day it is now.
Northern Ireland have been swept aside, really, so far. They desperately need the inspiration of a goal to give them something to bite on here in the second half. That really ought to have been 4-0. Free kick has been given for dangerous kicking there. And it'll be a relief for Northern Ireland just to keep the ball for a moment in Phelan's half. He swings the indirect kick high into the area. Taggart got up there well. It's half cleared, and then Irwin completes the job straight to Donaghy. Phelan with a good brave header. Moran's clearance is causing more problems for Northern Ireland than Worthington. Very decisive then.
What a power run from Keane, straight from his own box, a 60-yard run at that pace.
Here he is again, finding Townsend. Moran hits it long. Quinn has made a good run, but not that good. Well, I know you have to, with due respect to Northern Ireland, base any assessment of what we've seen so far on the standard of the opposition, but in this type of form, the Republic of Ireland would be a match for anyone.
Oh, certainly. I mean, they took 5 or 10 minutes where they had to come to grips with the wind and so forth, and were a little bit edgy and not quite at it. But all of a sudden, they seemed to just flow in midfield. And as I say, I think a lot of it stemmed from Steve Staunton. He stepped inside a couple of times, got a lot of free ball, and built up some attacks, and they've just gone on from there. I mean, the only way they can have a problem now is if they give it themselves. If they get complacent or switch off or stop playing the way they've been playing.
I don't think either Jack Charlton or this 33,000 capacity crowd will allow them to switch off. They They're in the mood for goals. Houghton with a good ball forward. Staunton had made a good run, his Aston Villa clubmate. And they're not allowing these defenders any time to settle. Hurrying and chasing as though it was 0-0, and their tactics have paid off. Worthington's mistake, another corner. Swung in towards Quinn, and Coyne in behind him, and Tommy Wright just fingertipped it away.
Well, that's the sort of thing you need to test a keeper that perhaps is suspect through injury or whatever. Just float the ball under his bar and test whether he's got any spring in him. And to be fair to the kid, he's dealt with that one.
He's got to deal with one from the other side now. Hit in high this time toward Moore, who won the header, and Coyne was close, very close.
And that's a luxury. I was just looking at the number of bodies in the box there. I mean, you've got people like Quinn, you've got McGrath, you've got Moran, all excellent headers. And there's not even a Keane. Keane's not even in for this one, and Keane is a tremendous header of the ball. Big Kevin thinks, I think he should have scored there.
Yes, when you think they've already scored 3, there have been 2 more excellent opportunities, both headers which have gone wide. And at the back, apart from a couple of early errors here by Paki Bonner, the Republic haven't looked troubled. 10 minutes to go to half-time. They lead 3-0. Moran's clearance, a good one to Keane. Under pressure, he's given it away, though, to O'Neill. Hughes to his left. Jilton in support, but it wasn't a very good ball. O'Neill retrieves it. Worthington. O'Neill again. And
the Republic boys scampered out after that, didn't they? And kept the ball under pressure. Didn't allow the Northern Irish team to build up any sort of continuity.
Good ball from Houghton. McDonald knew he had to head that one away. Quinn was right behind him. Jilton. Now Worthington. Did well to win it back, the Sheffield Wednesday defender. And again, when danger threatens, McGrath and Moran are equal to it. 2 old stagers, certainly. There's experience all around this Republic of Ireland side, and some really skillful players too. Pace, they've got everything. A lot of movement up front. Quinn's header drops in behind Coyne, but not Tommy Wright. Almost feels sorry for the goalkeeper. Coyne looking lively still. It's going to be a hard day for Messrs Taggart and MacDonald. Again, McGrath with a towering clearance. Donaghy plays it back in. This time it's Moran getting it clear to Worthington. Houghton's pressure, and Northern Ireland have the relief of a throw-in and a moment to draw breath. And Hughes was foul then. Paul McGrath the culprit. Donald has gone forward to join Ian Dowie, the Queen's Park Rangers centre-half, and the Northern Ireland captain adding his aerial ability. But Niall Quinn back defending to try and cancel that out. Worthington's free kick, it's a decent one, and it breaks to O'Neill, but no, it doesn't, because he suddenly finds Keane whipping the ball off his toe. It's a great run forward by the Nottingham Forest player, and he looks for Phelan. And Tommy Wright again. Ambled out, it seemed there, and Phelan obviously fell awkwardly as he challenged for that, following Keane's marvellous run, and sportingly, Tommy Wright's knocked it out to allow Phelan treatment.
Look at this. This is lovely here. This is the power and speed of good players. Keane races the length of the field, and yet Phelan overtakes him. Unfortunately, he's just gone over on his ankle a little bit there.
Phelan, who's certainly one of the quickest defenders around. His own pace, I think, led him into problems then. He got himself into a challenging position, didn't duck out as Wright came in, but he looks okay. And the ball, quite rightly, returned to Tommy Wright. Eddie McGoldrick, one of the Republic substitutes.
Looking to be in a lot of trouble, actually, Terry Phelan, Alan.
Yeah, I was just seeing him then as he volleyed that clearance away. He's clearly not too happy, and why take a risk when you're leading 3-0?
Yeah, they've got Steve Staunton could automatically slot in there, and as I say, Eddie McGoldrick could probably come on and do the flank job.
Irwin. Townsend. McGrath. Oh, that's a clumsy ball by McGrath. Straight to O'Neill, not like him. Hughes makes a run for him. He's got to go alone, though. And Staunton, full credit to him for staying with his man all that way. And they are hassling well, the Republic, forcing Northern Ireland to make mistakes in possession. And that's too far ahead of Dowie. At least they're getting their confidence back a little bit here, Northern Ireland, as Phelan limps on. Despite that injury, I don't think he's going to be continuing too much longer by the looks of it. Here's Staunton. Houghton. So many options when the Republic are in possession. Some really intelligent running off the ball. Out to Quinn. Oh, he almost curled that over Taggart's head to Coyne. But Taggart knocks it behind for a corner.
I think the Republic might appreciate half-time now, you know, particularly being 3 up, or maybe 4 at the end of this corner, because it looks as if Keane's limping badly as well.
Well, corners have caused mayhem for the Northern Irish so far. Staunton to take it again. He scored direct from one, remember, earlier. And lifts that in towards big McGrath. Scrambled away on the near post by Northern Ireland.
Tommy Wright got in a dreadful mix-up then on the in-swinging corner. Didn't look confident at all here as he turned it back into his own net, and McGrath, if he'd have been able to follow that in, might just have beat the defender to it.
Wright faces another corner. Houghton hits it on the volley. Well, that's the kind of confidence they've got at the moment to try anything even as ambitious as that.
In all fairness to Ray Houghton, he's not entitled to try that.
Well, you see him a little bit more in training than the rest of us.
The only way he could do that is he must have been reading comments.
Just one short of 50 international appearances now, Ray Houghton. And scored the last time these sides met here in the Republic's 3-0 victory. 3-0 their advantage now, with 3 minutes of the first half remaining.
Good news is Phelan appears to be running far easier now at the moment.
Yes, I suppose with it being so close to half-time, they felt they may as well leave him on for those final few minutes and then assess the injury at half-time. Substitutes wait just in case they're needed. Phelan carries on for the moment. Gray beaten to it. That's not a bad effort by Jilton, but in all fairness, it was always travelling well wide of the Republic's goal. At least they've had a shot.
He's actually a fine striker of the ball, is Majilton.
Scored, in fact, in the home win over Albania, and of course, a month or so ago, they beat Albania away, Northern Ireland, to give them a great hope in this group, but that hope could be swept away if they can't get back into this game. And at the moment, it appears no way back. However, the second half, with the wind at their backs rather than the Republic's, who knows? Could be a different proposition, but they've got to lift their game a great deal. Foul there on Coyne. Be pleased with his efforts so far, even though he maybe should have scored. He's certainly given Taggart a handful of a problem. That's great running by Houghton. Oh, unlucky. He deserves the applause of the crowd there because it was really sharp thinking. We're into the final minute of the first half now in Dublin. The Republic of Ireland leading by 3-0. Irwin to Houghton. Jilton under pressure from Townsend. In fact, he was fouled. Taking the free kick already. Hughes is in possession. But runs the ball out of play. A frustrating 45 minutes it's been for Northern Ireland. Lee Bingham, amongst the most experienced of all international managers. This is his 112th game in charge of Northern Ireland. And my, is he going to need a team talk and a half at half-time. Well, Northern Ireland will be mightily relieved to hear that referee's whistle at half-time, but perhaps a little encouraged by the fact that the Republic have just dropped down a gear. But anyway, when you're leading 3-0, I suppose battles. So the Republic of Ireland get the second half underway, attacking from left to right, and remember, leading by 3-0. Erwin, like Phelan, had so many opportunities in the first half to get forward at every opportunity. A luxury that certainly didn't come the way of the Northern Ireland defenders. Like Worthington here, who turns it forward now, looking for Dowie. No problem this time for Bonner. He's kept a clean sheet in 34 of his 61 international appearances for his country, Packy Bonner. Remember, the Republic have not yet conceded a goal in any of their World Cup qualifying matches. That could be a very important statistic in a group that's bound to be very fiercely contested for the qualifying places between the Republic and Spain and Denmark. The Northern Irish would like to believe they could have a say in things as well, but they've got to perform a minor miracle here in the second half to keep their interest alive. Donald's clearance. Headed away by McGrath, only as far as O'Neill. And he did well then to win the second challenge from Townsend. He goes forward looking good. Then the layoff to Dowie, and that seemed a very strange decision from where we were sitting. The linesman's given offside.
Yes, in all fairness, though, I think he was offside. I think the play just caught up with him, and he appeared to be a number of bodies between him and the goal. But I think he was offside originally, you know, Alan.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, from their point of view, I think the Northern Irish seem to have any chance at all. They've got to try and play a few balls in behind the Republic's defence, turn them round and try and build up some sort of pressure, try and get a few corners, and if there's any sort of element, you know, wins or so forth, try and take advantage of it. But otherwise, you don't really see any way back for them, do you?
And that little movement was typical, really, of the way the game's gone. Taggart was allowed no time on the ball to get it clear. Northern Ireland are under pressure again. Staunton on that far side, tackled by Maldonaghy, wins the throw-in. And it's in quickly to Coyne. But Jilton gets it clear. Dowie flicks it on for Gray, but there's Phelan to win it back for the Republic. Then McGrath finding Staunton. Cleared by Morrow. Not a very good clearance, though. The Republic have it back again. This is Irwin. Strange ball, that one, by Dennis Irwin. Lloyd Keane, the youngest man in the side today, not too happy with the strength that Irwin got on that through ball. As we stressed in the first half, don't think for one moment that the Republic of Ireland will take their foot off the accelerator pedal here, because they are inferior in terms of goals scored to Spain in this group at the moment. And with Spain, of course, playing Denmark tonight, it's vitally important that the Republic press on and look for as many goals as they can get here in the second half. If that's the question, let's not totally write off Northern Ireland yet. One goal might just change the nature of this game, though it's very difficult to imagine that. And it's the Republic who threaten to break through again then. Taggart's clearance.
Yes, they know they're superior, don't they? You can see it. You can see when some of their players go to pressurise people. There he is again, to be fair, Paddy Bonner. He has had his problems with the back pass today. But every time a Republican player goes in for the ball, you sense that he feels that confidence.
Yeah, strangely enough, Paddy Bonner with his kicking has looked the least authoritative player in the Republic of Ireland side. He hasn't really had a save to make, at least I can't remember one, so it's his footwork that's letting him down at the moment.
They're not good situations for goalkeepers, those, though, are they? I mean, Kevin Moran's put him a couple of short passes back when the forward's been on top of him.
Worthington knocking it long for Dowie, who wins it well. Gray. Well, it was a clever effort. Not a hoot of derision, as you'd expect from this home crowd, but one of those, if it had gone in, it would look absolutely splendid.
Yeah, that's their best effort to date. I mean, a nice knockdown from Dowie, and to be fair, the lad's measured his lob on there, and he's not that far adrift.
He scored 18 goals for Luton this season and had a lot of Premier League clubs looking at him. Dowie winning another good header, and the referee didn't really do Northern Ireland a favour then. He blew the whistle when they were in possession. Free kick. And a substitution about to be made now by Northern Ireland. And Jimmy Quinn is the player who will come on when they've eventually attracted the referee's attention. And they have now. And there was a bit of confusion about who was coming off. It's in fact Magilton. So Jimmy Quinn, the Reading striker, experienced player at an international level, comes on for his 33rd cap. A big man, of course, like Dowie, so they're going to look to pose more of an aerial threat, perhaps. A striker for a midfield player. Interesting. We'll bring one in on that in a moment as McGrath gets it clear. Gray. McDonald challenges. Gray's in there again. But the Republic get it clear thanks to Quinn. Decent little spell for Northern Ireland, but how desperately they need to cap it off with a goal. Keane's given it away. Worthington's cross. Taggart. Oh, that was optimistic. Ron, what about the change? Quinn on for Magilton.
Yeah, well, obviously a midfield player for a striker. Billy Bingham signalled his intent, and he's got to. He's no alternative now. I mean, getting beat 3 or 4-0 is of no importance. He might as well try and chase the game. What it does mean is I think you'll see Gray drop off the play a little bit and play just behind the front two. But it's important that they miss out midfield now. I think they've got to try and miss out midfield. Certainly miss out the Republic midfield, and try and just put the ball on the front strikers and support from with their own midfield players.
Great break here, and Keane is in behind the defenders. There was a little nudge from Taggart, but the referee was convinced it wasn't illegal. Houghton. Owen swings it in again. It curled away from Quinn, though. Headed away by McDonald to Dowie. And now Quinn making the move up front that has been lacking so far. Hughes. Ball by Donaghy. That wasn't a very good ball, though. Straight to Keane, now to Houghton. And he makes a run for him to one side, Keane to the other. He finds Quinn. And Tommy Wright just about got there at the second attempt, having fumbled Quinn's initial shot.
Well, already in the last 2 minutes, we've just seen the ability of both the Republic's central midfield players, Keane and Townsend, to make great breaks. And they've both nearly created a goal situation. I thought Taggart on the earlier one did very well. He just did enough to distract Keane. I don't think it was a push or a penalty or anything like that. And on that one, the last one, Townsend's run opened up a great situation for Houghton to find Quinn for a strike.
Staunton did well then to thread it through to Quinn. But it's Northern Ireland's throw.
That's really playing into the Republic's hands if, and the Northern Irish team, if they just play through midfield. They've got to play now from back to front, you know, and turn the whole of the Republic side round if they can.
There's Quinn getting his first touch. We've got a tall Quinn at either end of the field now, Jimmy and Niall. And there's Niall for the Republic of Ireland, laying it off well to Staunton. And it goes towards Townsend. Donald hooks it clear, and Quinn went in with his boot raised too high on the Northern Ireland captain. Free kick. Republic, remember, second at the start of play in this group, 6 points from their 4 games, 3 points behind Spain, the leaders, but they had actually played 2 games less.
I must say I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't, Billy Bingham hasn't given Kingsley Black some sort of chance in the game. I mean, it might very well be that Northern Ireland are crying out for somebody that can put balls into the box, and he has got that ability to go off either flank, either left or right, and deliver good crosses.
The usual colourful support here as McGrath, this time, I think, getting a bit nervous about his goalkeeper, decides to clear at the expense of a throw rather than liaise with Bonner. And again, the Republic win it back. But feeling dispossessed by Donaghy. And Neil kept it in play well. And it's a good ball too for Worthington. Certainly a better spell this for Northern Ireland. Dowie's header finds Quinn. Now Donaghy. Well, at least they are getting a few shots, not exactly on target, but they're getting a few shots in and looking a little bit more confident.
Yes, they're having some sort of a play. I mean, you always say in any game the opposition gets some sort of play, and at the moment the Northern Irish team are certainly getting a lot more territorial play. And you would expect that in a way. I mean, professionals, their pride would be stung at half-time, whoever they are, 3 down, getting humiliated. They've got to roll the sleeves and get something out of the game, particularly in a game as big and as important as this.
3-0 Republic lead, 10 minutes gone in the second half here in Dublin. And Houghton's challenge then on O'Neill just caught the Northern Ireland player. I think it was accidental on Ray Houghton's part.
Now Billy Bingham must be crying out for somebody like Keane, somebody like Townsend, somebody that can run past his strikers. I mean, I can't remember in the course of the game when a Northern Irish player has got beyond his front players. And when you're trying to build up pressure, sometimes that's very, very important.
Worthington swings the free kick in. Dowie wins another header, and McGrath did well then under pressure from Quinn to hook it clear. Certainly the best spell of the game for Northern Ireland, and that's a shot on the turn again from Donaghy. Bounced awkwardly in front of Bonner, but he dealt with it. Never scored, Mal Donaghy, and this is his 81st international appearance. He's easily the most experienced player on the side, and now he's had 2 shots in quick succession. Coyne for the Republic, tries to get them going again. It's a good ball to Quinn, and Donaghy defends well.
As I say, I think they've made 3 attacks this half, haven't they, the Republic, and every one has looked a menace. I mean, that was a very, very good little ball back from Coyle that nearly played Quinn in.
Phelan. Crowd felt that Coyne was being held by the defender, then the referee significantly didn't. Here's Gray. Worthington gives it straight to Irwin. Now Keane. Coyne forced off it, but he does win the throw for the Republic. And then misses the header. Taggart's clearance. McGrath under pressure here from Quinn, did the right thing. What would you expect? He's so effective, straightforward, no frills, does the job, never takes risks. Boyle Good breaks here for Gray. And as Moran finally got the challenge in, it was enough to just throw the Luton striker off balance. He lost Moran initially. And Northern Ireland have a corner. It might well be the first of the game, certainly the first of this half anyway. And it's whipped in, and a dramatic header away by Houghton gives them another corner. 13 minutes of the second half gone. Hughes will take the corner kick. And the goalkeeper got there, but he'd have to, well, he rode his luck then. I was about to say he'd have to get back quickly, but the ball was curved straight to him. Morrow and Townsend scrapping away, and the free kick goes Northern Ireland's way. Good clearance by Phelan, because it opens things up for Staunton. Coyne peels off to his left. Phelan on the overlap outside him. And the fullback steaming down that left flank. The first time cross. Taggart gets it clear. But there's a bigger gap opening up in the middle of the field noticeably now. Northern Ireland wasteful in possession then. Staunton looking for Coyne, and Tommy Wright again with a timely interception.
Just get the little picture that maybe Dowie is, he's quite appreciated having Quinn up alongside as a sort of powerhouse with him. It's enabled him to pull onto Phelan.
McGrath's clearance. Quinn couldn't control it though.
Whereas probably in the first half he felt that he was having to do all the sort of foraging himself. Now with a strike partner alongside him of a similar type, I think he's appreciating that.
Well, certainly Northern Ireland have killed a little bit of the passion of the crowd here in Dublin. They've gone noticeably quiet, and certainly the Republic team are not in the kind of barnstorming form we saw from them in the first half. And you've got to credit Northern Ireland for at least changing the picture temporarily.
Yeah, we've talked about goal difference as well, haven't we? The more goals the Republic can get, obviously, the better for future things. But obviously, what they don't want to do, they don't really want to concede either.
Here's Quinn, the substitute. O'Neill gets in behind Irwin. Away by Paul McGrath. Gray again turning well and finding O'Neill. And that's a foul by O'Neill.
Yeah, really, when O'Neill reaches those situations, he really has to put the ball in. I mean, Dowie and Quinn, Jimmy Quinn, are going to thrive on a sort of early service.
Northern Ireland, incidentally, as we see again that free kick, third in the group at the start of play, 6 points from 5 games. The same points, in fact, as the Republic of Ireland, though before today they had played a game more. Coyne just beaten to it by Taggart. Now Keane. Haven't seen quite so much of Keane as we did in that opening 20 minutes, but that's a good ball for Coyne. Dispossessed by Worthington, but the Republic get a throw out of it. Good layoff from Coyne to Houghton. Good ball in, and that was a fine header. Quinn. Delicate little header almost. Moran did well to beat Dowie to that ball, and then Irwin did the same with O'Neill, but Morrow turns it on. Dowie, and to his embarrassment, he slips at the vital moment. Kevin Moran did his job well, put him off his stride. Remarkable to think that Kevin Moran will be 37 next month as we see Quinn's header again.
I would think it's been a long time since Niall Quinn's had as many strikes at goal in an international match. On another day, you know, maybe with a modicum of luck, he might very well have been on a hat-trick by now.
Taggart got the ball away from him then. And a good break here for Dowie, but the offside flag has gone up. He struck that one well, and Connor was right behind the line of flight, but it's all in vain. Offside. And almost as though someone held up a huge sign saying cheer now. That was the cue for the home fans here to start a roar around Lansdowne Road to try and get their team lifted again and back into their form of the first half. Donaghy knocks it long, and it's a useful ball too for Quinn. He's got no support in the middle at the moment. Now the long ball for O'Neill from Hughes. Northern Ireland's throw, so they keep the pressure going a little longer. Quinn. McDonald. Ray knocks it on, and that was a brave header clear, and the shot in the end by Quinn was rather wild and off target.
Well, certainly at the moment there seems a lot of players that were performing, well, absolutely brilliantly in the first half of the Republic really aren't at the races this half.
I suppose it's difficult sometimes, Ron, when you're 3-0 up, no matter how much your manager might tell you not to relax. The game isn't over, it's not won. I suppose almost inevitably players do drop down a gear.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think they would be saying to themselves, just a minute, like, you know, 3-0's enough, 3-0's good. But what they have done, even the crowd, as you say, the crowd have gone quiet. I mean, what it needs somebody, an Andy Townsend, a Keane, Steve Staunton, somebody like that, just to trigger the thing off, just to start the passing going again. You know, if they could just say, hey, let's, for 5 or 10 minutes, let's just knock the ball about nice and bright and get ourselves back in control of the game. And in that way, they'd build up opportunities to score more.
3-0, the Republic of Ireland lead. All the goals scored in the first half by Andy Townsend, Niall Quinn and Steve Staunton direct from a corner. Quinn's conceded the free kick, foul on Alan McDonald. And this is how. Well, 6-1 I would have thought. The referee has given Northern Ireland the free kick. And Billy Bingham knows his side facing a very difficult situation here unless they can get a goal back in this, their best spell of the game. And there's Quinn back defending. 25 minutes remaining for Northern Ireland to try and lift their hopes with a goal here. Worthington. Morrow's header. Dowie knocks it on and was caught by Moran. The ball spending a lot of time in the air, but Quinn controls it well. It was nice skill initially, but the shot well wide.
They've certainly applied more pressure, haven't they, since the advent of Jimmy Quinn? You know, if they play with no frills and just knock it into areas and chase and hustle and hunt, who knows, they might be able to scramble something out the game. I mean, the uglier they make the game, the better it's going to be for them, because if they get into sort of a pattern passing game, then the Republic would win easily.
The wind's still blowing here. I don't know how significant a factor that is, because of course it's behind Northern Ireland now.
I don't think it's quite as strong as it was first half, but I do think so. I do think it is having some sort of part to play in the game.
Irwin's long ball, Taggart gets it clear, Houghton and then Keane. And Northern Ireland looking a bit more determined now. They've taken confidence from their good start to this half. Houghton. Coyne was being held possibly by Taggart. The referee had a long look at it and then said play on. And here's Dowie. Good turn. Can he deliver it? Donaghy can't. Straight to Staunton. And Donaghy did well to block the cross, and so did Staunton on the clearance, and in fact it took a little double deflection, so it's a corner. But unlucky there, Mal Donaghy, and it's been taken quickly to Houghton on the edge of the box, and then back to him again. Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing there, Ray Houghton.
That'd have been a superb goal, wouldn't it? Quick thinking. Steve Staunton catches the the Northern defence unawares. Little 1-2. He's seen the situation, just nearly edged it into that top corner of the net. But that was bright and that was quick thinking.
Quinn's header. Still 3-0 to the Republic here. And Irwin's clearance.
Certainly Paul McGrath and Kevin Moran know they've been in a battle this half. You know, they've had far more aerial threats to deal with, and it's been a shared one. Not just Ian Dowie competing for aerial stuff.
And Michael O'Neill, the Dundee United player, wins a corner off Irwin.
Just doing a little bit of quality on these corners. The two previous ones from the other side, they weren't quite the quality on. And they've got some big lads of Northern Ireland.
Goes in short, in fact. And Hughes is challenged immediately by Houghton and wins the throw.
Just seen the two extremes of short corners. One from the Republic, nice and bright and catching them unawares. That one, which was really a wasted one.
And then O'Neill wastes possession, and it could be a serious mistake as Phelan has the pace to break forward. It's an excellent run here by Phelan. He's done superbly well, but then he spoilt it with the pass, really, which was a bit too strong for Keane. Houghton to Townsend. And they're certainly biting in these tackles a lot better than they were in the first half, Northern Ireland. The Republic not any longer having things their own way, but still looking dangerous when they go forward. Staunton, he'll shoot from here. Well, you could see that one coming, but maybe so could Northern Ireland.
I know it's a much vaunted excuse. That one did catch a little bobble just as he went to hit it.
Well, I don't know whether the referee, if he had a look at that picture, would have regarded that as a foul by Taggart. Here's Quinn. Northern Ireland's throw. Momentum continuing to go their way a little bit at the moment.
I think he probably gave Taggart the benefit of the doubt, bearing in mind that Coyle seemed just to be holding Taggart earlier.
The long ball there by Quinn. And out it goes. O'Neill. Worthington gets the cross in. A difficult one that for Bonner. He's under pressure. And the referee, as so often happens, decides that it was unfair pressure. Free kick. They got going immediately with Phelan. His layoff's a bit better this time as well. Townsend. Staunton. On to Quinn. He held it up well there, Quinn, and finds Phelan. Keane. Stabbed forward by Irwin. Taggart gets it clear. Now Morrow for Northern Ireland. Quinn. And they're certainly looking more neat in possession than they have done at any stage of the game. But there's nothing really at the end of it still, Ron.
No, they've got more threat up front, in as much as they seem to have more bodies up front, and maybe if they've got the wind at the back, they can throw the ball forward a little bit better. But as you say, yeah, once or twice they've suggested they might put a threat on. I mean, Packy Barker in big problems there, people diving on top of him. But really, they haven't really created a clear-cut chance, have they?
Packy Barker, I think Jack Charlton would be proud of that one. I know what you meant. Quinn. Irwin. It's a useful ball as Coyne tries to get in behind Taggart. He made it difficult for the defender, but the big Barnsley lad did well. Keane's interception. This is McGrath. Good ball. Staunton. Well, the accuracy is not there. It's gone missing a little bit from the first half. Dowie did well to hold it up then. The referees allowed play to go on with Hughes in possession, and it wasn't really an effort that was likely to trouble Packy Bonner.
Dowie's actually held the ball up a lot better this half, hasn't he? And with them switching the flank players, with O'Neill and Hughes switching onto the other side, it means, like, for argument's sake, Hughes then cutting in off his left foot seems to be far more effective. I thought they might have done that with Kingsley back, and it looks as if they might be just going to bring him on.
Yes, he's been brought to the touchline by the official to attract the referee's attention. So the Nottingham Forest winger about to be introduced as Quinn is found in an offside position. And that should be the opportunity for Northern Ireland to bring Kingsley Black on. No, it isn't. The referee has said, I want you to carry on. So he has to wait. Looks like O'Neill of Dundee United is the player who will be replaced. Now's the opportunity to effect the substitution, and indeed it is. The number 8, Michael O'Neill, who comes off. Kingsley Black comes on for his 25th appearance for Northern Ireland. Quinn fails to find him with the first header. Keane, the other Forest man on the field, wins the free kick. Incidentally, a good moment to remind you that when the Republic of Ireland played Denmark here in what's going to be another critical match in this qualifying group, that's in 4 weeks' time, you can watch that game also live and exclusively on ITV. Quinn beaten to it by Taggart, who's had a decent game at the back for Northern Ireland. Big and strong, and has done well against some difficult customers. A little over 15 minutes remaining. Phelan's clearance. He's gone straight to Donaghy. Dowie. Morrow. No problem. 3-0 the score, but what I'm sure everyone, not just in Dublin, but in the whole of the country, wanted to see was the Republic add to that score here in the second half. Well, so far, Northern Ireland have frustrated them. Coyne leaves it to Houghton. Now Quinn. Keane. Gets in behind his teammate, Kingsley Black. And he was helped out. Gray back defending, but he has conceded the throw, rather. Houghton. McGrath did really well then. It's a bit of a gap he's left behind now, though, as Worthington tries to exploit it with a long ball. And Moran covered well, and he's still there, McGrath. Now Quinn.
It's all gone very messy, though, hasn't it, at the moment?
It has, very untidy.
Republic, all that control they had in midfield first half seems to have disappeared now, and they seem to me as if they're just happy to take it 3-0.
Yes, it certainly looks that way. 14 minutes to go. The game has gone off the boil since half-time, no doubt about it. Another goal now would give it the lift. Staunton attacking down that left-hand side, has done well to win the ball back, and he's got a lot of choices in the middle here, and drives it into Houghton near post. Still not gone the danger yet, but it has now as Morrow knocks it clear. Bit of activity on the Republic of Ireland bench. So they're about to make a substitution, but it'll have to wait until Staunton takes this corner. Cleared by Taggart, going as far as Irwin. Knocks it intelligently back in towards Quinn. And McDonald did well then, didn't even concede the corner. It's a throw. Phelan. Staunton. That's a great cross. The goalkeeper anticipated it well, though. Keane. Owen's challenge. And again, good defending by Northern Ireland. Tony Cascarino, the Republic of Ireland substitute, who's going to be introduced soon. This is Roy Keane. And Coyne, the target. Looks as though he could be the man replaced. Can he do something before he's replaced? He thought he'd done enough to earn a penalty then. For the second time in this half, the referee disagreed with him, but here he is again. And that might well be his last contribution to the game. Tommy Coyne, indeed it will be.
The substitution for the Republic of Ireland coming on is number 12, Tony Cascarino. Number 10,
Great cheers for Tommy Coyne, who did well, really, in his first start in an Irish jersey in a full competitive match. Made quite a few appearances as a substitute and thought he was going to sign off here if he realised he was about to be replaced by earning his side a penalty in yet another clash with Taggart. But no, Cascarino's on. And Worthington clear. Sorry, Ron?
I don't think he's got much of a case there.
No.
I think it's just a genuine jostle with the lad.
So Cascarino adds his aerial ability to that of Niall Quinn. And the Republic gain a few yards and win another throw. Kingsley Black's clearance. Staunton has switched from left to right. Curls it in to Quinn, who turned well. That was unlucky.
I'm surprised on recent attacks the Northern Irish defence has defended very, very deep. I think that's an advantage for the Republic. They can feed balls into the box a lot easier than if the opposition tend to hold the edge of the penalty box. This is a first-class example here.
Meantime, at the other end, Quinn tests the goalkeeper. As you're seeing a replay at that moment, Jimmy Quinn tested the keeper at the other end, Packy Bonner, with a header that was well saved. Staunton. McDonald knocks it on, looking for Quinn again. And excellent defending. 10 minutes to go. It's the Republic of Ireland 3, Northern Ireland 0. And although they haven't played anything like as well in this second half, I think their performance in the first half here, the Republic that is, certainly disproved any theory that they're simply a side who hit it long and hope. They've played some very good football in that first 45 minutes. They've matured into a very good international side. And Ron, their understanding is almost that of a club team.
Yes, I mean, we were with them last night, and you do get that effect. They've played together for a long time. Most of them are mates. There's a lot of club combinations there. And as you say, they've got that spirit amongst themselves. That's what I'm particularly disappointed in the second half performance, I'd have to say that. I mean, I thought first half they played some tremendous, exciting, vibrant stuff. Second half, they've been boring, actually.
Here's Gray for Northern Ireland, who may feel that their second half performance deserves something in terms of a goal. But now they've got to defend. Keane. Taggart gets it clear. Good steady game he's had. This is Donaghy. Useful ball for Quinn at the other end. And then Hughes in support. And now Kingsley Black. He certainly chose the difficult route there. Houghton. Niall Quinn. Black again. And there is a real up and under.
Yeah, it's been messy, hasn't it? It's been too much of that.
But there was a good ball on by Cascarino to Houghton. And he has Keane in support on the right. He looks to drive it long to Staunton. A good ball. And that wasn't. They've really lost their fizz in this second half, the Republic. They've gone into their shell. Cascarino. He did well to get a cross in there. And Keane produces a fine shot and an even better save.
There's broad credit here must go to Tony Cascarino. Tight situation against the dead ball, and to pull out a ball like that was excellent.
8 minutes to go. The Republic close to extending their lead.
He's dug it out there, and Quinn he seems to hit that one into the ground and nearly does enough to beat right.
Keane has earned the corner, which has gone in short to Houghton. Then back to Staunton. Across the face of goal, and McGrath turns it wide. Smiling now. He wouldn't have been if it was 0-0.
It's once again a very, very well-worked corner here. But they've caught the Irish defence napping about six, the Northern defence napping about 6 or 7 times there. All the 3 Villa lads took part in it, and Big Macca won't be too happy with that finish. He should really have registered from there.
Linesman has flagged offside. Dowie.
It's amazed me how often, you know, that an international defence such as the Northern Irish team have been caught napping like that, you know, sleeping at sort of dead ball situations.
And the crowd have probably seen a bit of activity on the touchline here. Eddie McGoldrick looks as though he's about to come on here for the Republic. The Palace player, a towering header at the other end, almost set Townsend free. And again, Tommy Wright, who I think may have been beaten 3 times, but has had an excellent game for Northern Ireland, despite that knee injury, to their rescue once more. We now have 6 minutes remaining here in Dublin, and the Republic, at the moment, look as though they're going to repeat the scoreline when the sides last met here in 1989 in a World Cup qualifier. Niall Quinn, the player to be replaced. He's had a good game, scored the 2nd goal, could have had another one perhaps at least, but really played his part well, and his place now goes to Eddie McGoldrick. So Republic rather have used both their substitutes now, as indeed of course have Northern Ireland.
I think it also signifies that Big Jack's going to say, all right, at least if we don't look like scoring, let's try and make sure we don't concede any.
Well, they've conceded a free kick, Phelan's challenge. And whatever Northern Ireland managed to do now, it won't be enough, clearly. But Bonner waits to see what they can produce here. Hughes over the ball, and Donaghy a few yards away from him if he wants to tap it short. The big players up as well if they're looking for the high ball. Donaghy leaves it, Hughes curls it in, and no problem really.
Yes, Jack settled for a solid 5 in midfield formation now with just Cascarino up on his own.
Well, Northern Ireland have got high hopes of this side. It's basically a young team. They've rebuilt, well, obviously several times in Billy Bingham's long spell in charge, 2 different spells in charge. And I think they hope that the blend of experience of the likes of MacDonald and Donaghy and Worthington would blend well with these youngsters. Today they were blown apart from a Republic side who really played superbly well in the first 45 minutes, but they'll take some hope, I think, Northern Ireland run from their second half performance.
Yes, they played with a spirit. I think as I say, I think Quinn coming on's made a big difference. He's given Dowie a sort of fighting partner up front, if you like, and they've caused McGrath and Moran a few problems, particularly on aerial stuff. They've suffered in midfield, to be fair. They really haven't had anybody to dominate or to break from midfield.
Here's Quinn for Northern Ireland. We're into the last 4 minutes now, and they're looking to retrieve some kind of respectability on this scoreline. Dowie for them. Threads it out towards Hughes. Phelan nips in and wins it back, though, for the Republic. Townsend. Good ball that was. McGoldrick. Whips it in towards Cascarino, who won the header well, and a bit of hesitation there between MacDonald and Wright. Townsend also hesitated, and Northern Ireland have it back with Dowie. Under pressure here, and a foul by Morum. Quinn finding some room. And now finding Morrow. The Arsenal man back to MacDonald, the captain. Gray's layoff to Kingsley Black. This is Worthington for Northern Ireland. The flick on by Black, but no problem for Bonner to anticipate. Well, I don't think anyone would have guessed at half-time that we would see such a tame second half. It looked as though the Republic were likely to get more goals, and then for a little spell it looked as though Northern Ireland were likely to get possibly a goal themselves. But here we are on with now, only 3 minutes to go and no addition to the scoreline by either side. Yeah, disappointing. Second half disappointing. All credit to Northern Ireland second half. They came back a little bit, but really a team with the quality that the Republic have got
should have taken this game on and possibly gone on and run out 4 or 5 goals to the clear.
Yes, principally, of course, though, it's all about points, and they have certainly got the 2 points they will need to keep them very much in contention with Spain and Denmark now in this group. Here's Kingsley Black for Northern Ireland, who I would think, from their point of view, are virtually out of contention now after this defeat, which is what it's going to be. Opal, the match sponsors, incidentally, have named Ray Houghton of the Republic of Ireland as their man of the match. Black puts the cross straight against Irwin. What about that Houghton as their choice, Ron? Did you go along with that one?
I think he's played quite well. I thought, particularly first half, and I think that the same would apply to most of the Republic. I would have guessed in the first half Steve Staunton would have run in very close. I thought he was having a smashing game. But yeah, full marks to Razor, yeah.
We're into the last minute now, and Northern Ireland have a free kick here. Whipped in by Hughes, and the header by McDonald was well saved. Must have been difficult for Bonner, that. There's so many people crowding around him.
I should think he's the only Republic player that's appreciated the second half. Aki Bonner. He certainly had a lot more to do, and nothing untoward there.
And he's kept another clean sheet to add to his marvellous record. It'll be 34 in 62 now, unless Northern Ireland can beat him in what can only be time added for stoppages now. Staunton in possession. McGoldrick making a good run, and it was played in behind him.
Yeah, in the first half, all those sort of passes from Staunton and the likes were linking up, weren't they?
That's it, the final whistle, it's all over, and that spell of